Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with Carl Draper from Boxing Royalty. And how are you, mate?
I'm all good, Sam. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. And
Good.
so we're gonna talk about the top tier show, then move, and then you'll see how it goes. But yes, top tier show. The first fight you had Zach Fee v Brian Castro.
But I didn't actually get in there. The first fight I saw was the Marley Mason fight.
Marley v Casey Bradnam.
Yeah, before I start talking about the fights, I just want to, because obviously Johnny Clark gave me a couple of tickets. Myself and Obi went down. Obviously, I've been to pretty much every small hall promotion down south, and if you didn't know that Top Tier promoted that, you'd think it was a Matchroom show. The production was absolutely incredible. The ring walks, the media, the time in between fights was perfect, and it shows this is his third show, and he's already got Sky putting it on their telly. So a big shout out to Johnny Clark and everyone at Top Tier.
Yeah.
Casey and Marley, it was hard for me because obviously I'm friends with both. And Marley's got that style. You know, Casey rung me or messaged me when the fight was announced. Said, "What do you think?" Obviously, I didn't say too much. I just said, "Look, he is going to be on you. He's not going to let you breathe." And without discrediting the win, I know Casey's got a lot of stuff going on outside the ring. But Marley was just relentless. He just did not stay off him. The body, he was
And when
body
he had
head,
him
body
hurt,
head.
he just didn't let him off the hook.
No, and that's the thing with Marley. I think if you're a counter puncher, you could cause Marley problems. Not so problems that you'd beat him, but it would be a much closer fight. But he just, when he lands, he just runs at you. And I personally think after the second knockdown, it should have been stopped. I turned around to Obi and said, "Look, Casey isn't enjoying this. Get him out of there."
Yeah.
And then you even saw when the ref stopped it, Casey he said thank you to the referee. And I saw Casey afterwards, and he was visibly gutted. But as I say, look, I don't think he should have fought, but that's not taking nothing away from Marley. And Marley's
I'm
a
surprised
crowd
he got
pleaser.
up from that second knockdown.
Oh, see Marley's on it, then you cannot wait to see him fight because he is just so good to watch. And I can't wait to see where he goes. And he's a lovely boy as well. I love Marley, as I do Casey.
Yeah, both good lads and top fighters as well. But yeah, Casey will go again though.
100%. I think he said to me he's next out on October the 7th. So he's got a bit of a break now, obviously, because he has to have the month off. But he'll come again, as will all the journeymen do.
Yeah, 100%. And then you had Lenny Fuller v Carl Pavey.
Again, so I watched the first minute, and then IFL TV grabbed Obi. So me and Obi went round.
Then you watched him.
So I watched literally the first minute, and then we went out the back, and then 2 minutes later, I see that Pavey come walking through, and I was thinking, Christ, it's already over. So yeah, I see he stopped him, and obviously Pavey's now retired. So as long as he's happy and healthy and he's got what he wanted out of the game, then yeah, good luck to him.
And I think it was Tyrone King, maybe skipping a few fights, but Tyrone King v Lorenzo Grasso. I mean, geez,
that was an incredible thing I've seen live. He was. I'll be honest. I know Tyrone. I've met him a few times, and I said to Obi, I said, I think this might be too early for him. I said, I'm not sure. Tommy Murphy said that he thinks it's going to be a good fight and that Tyrone will win. And after sort of, what did he go down in round 2, Tyrone?
Yeah.
Yes. So when he went down, I just had my head in my hands, and I thought, oh no. And his sponsors were sat next to me, and you had that feel, and then to get up with 10 seconds left and just go smack on the chin. I've never seen an arena explode like it did. And I said to him when I see him, I said, that was absolutely incredible. And he proved his worth there. And let's see what happens. I'll tell you what I'd like to see next, though, in regards to Lorenzo Grasso, is him and Tommy Galbraith. I'd love to see that fight.
Yeah, 100%. Because they was meant to fight, and then I think Lorenzo got injured.
I think there was something wrong with his medical, but isn't Tommy wanting to fight that other guy that
Ryan Maycock?
Yeah, so Tom's a good character, though. I met him for the first time on Saturday. He really is funny. He's driving.
You still there? I lost you for a minute.
Yeah, you're there, mate. Yeah.
Oh, you broke up. Can you repeat what you said?
I think that I'd like to see Lorenzo and Tommy next, and then I'd like to see that Ryan Maycock fight. So let's see. I know, obviously, Tom's got some bits going on outside at the minute, but as soon as he's back, he's a character. Honestly, he really is.
Yeah, he's funny. But yes, the way Tyrone just got up and just landed that shot, and it just Lorenzo's legs just literally just
But
collapsed.
when he went down, I
Yeah,
didn't think it looked that heavy. And then when he got up, I stood up and I said to Obi, I said, his legs are gone. I said, he can't carry on. And then you see that the ref was brilliant, to be fair. He done the right thing.
100%. I thought, yeah, good call. And then you had Gideon Jonas. He, of course, he beat Tom, as we know, and then he fought Kevin Reveal. And he beat Kevin. And I thought, I mean, people were saying Kevin won, but in my opinion, I thought it was a fair result.
Conditioning coach, and so they trained together, him and Obi Gideon, and I said he's winning this fight, and Obi said he is, but they ain't going to get it. Obviously, Kevin sold loads of tickets, his shirts were everywhere, and that's what I said on my story. So refreshing to see that these away fighters are getting a fair chance at with the referees, because he did win that fight, and now he's looking at a Southern Area title, and he deserves it. He's a nice lad, Gideon. I'm working with him going forward as well. Top
Yeah,
lad.
that's good. And yeah, Gideon, that was a good fight. And I agree with the scorecard. 4-2 was probably fair.
I think he started slow. I think I had Kevin 2 up, but then Gideon just walked him down for 4 rounds and was picking him. Not he didn't. Kevin never looked troubled, but he Gideon deserved the win, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. But Kevin will go again.
100%, yeah.
What about the heavyweights? I mean, geez. I mean, what you doing, kneeing him? I mean, come on.
Lewis Oakford's fighting Phil Williams in 2 weeks. So when I see he was fighting that, I was thinking, oh no, like Lewis has had 3 opponents pull out for this show again, and I thought, God, he ain't gonna make it through. And I'll be honest with you, I thought Phil Williams caused Sayward some troubles in that fight. You know, he was coming under and dipping and diving, but Christ, that man is huge. I mean, I'm big, I'm 6'6", but he's a walking fruit machine on top of another fruit machine. He's massive.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to match him, isn't it, if you're a matchmaker?
It is, but I think the hard thing's going to be there is matching him for one, but then also stepping up levels. You know, because if you put him in to 6, how well can he do the rounds? He's a big lad. I don't know how fit he is, but can he do the 6, 8, 10 rounds? And that's where they've got to get the matching right to get him to that area title level at some point. But he seemed like a nice lad. I was sat in amongst all his fans. He was a nice lad, and as I say, he's fucking massive.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Matt McCallum v Jordan Reynolds, main event. But, but to be fair, Jordan stayed in there, and some of the shots they both took, I mean, geez.
After a minute, it was nearly over, wasn't it? He caught him with a double left hook, and Jordan looked like he was done. But look, I'm going to give my honest opinion. On the night, I had Matt quite wide, and then watching it back, I mean, I had it 3-2 after 5, and then I had it 3-2, 3, and then the last round, well, 6-3, 6-3 or 6-2, and then the last round, Matt messed up. He just got pinged around the ring, and obviously Tony would have told Jordan that he needed the last round, and he did do that. You know, he battered Matt to pieces in the last round. But it's not a robbery. I don't think it's a robbery, but I do think that Matt done enough to win. I think he was hard done by, but I don't think it was like shocking.
I think it should be a rematch, though. I would like to see a rematch.
Yeah, I would. I mean, look, you've got to remember Jordan's only done 6 rounds, so you've got to give him props for stepping up. You know, Matt come down, there was questions about his conditioning, and he done the rounds easy. You know, Jordan even said it himself, you know, the only thing he had over Jordan was conditioning. I don't agree with that, but Jordan's still young in the pros. Do you know what I mean? He had a great amateur career. And look, let's get it sanctioned for an English now. Let them run it back. It will sell like hell. It'll be on, I say, a big show. Top Tier is a massive show, so even have it back on. I do think that Matt deserved the win, but I can see why people do think Jordan won. But in my eyes, Matt was the winner.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that should run back because that was one hell of a fight, though.
Incredible, just incredible. The way they built it up, you know, in the venue as well. Jordan had a lot of fans there. Matt had a few there as well.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. Great end to a great night.
And in my opinion, that's that could be like fight of the year, like one of the contenders.
Oh, it takes some beating until Jack fights at the Peacock on Saturday. No, I'm joking. But no, yeah, that will take some beating. That was a war. They both went in there and just pummeled each other.
Yes. And then moving on to Jack, he's got 2 fights in 2 weeks, which is amazing. I think he's fighting in 2 4-rounders. Am I right?
No, he's fighting Jake Pollard in a 4 on the Peacock show, and then he's fighting in a 6 on the show in Harrow.
So we'll talk about Jake Pollard. And how excited are you to see Jack back in the ring?
Obviously, everyone knows Jack's my best mate. He's and I will say, in the 2 years I've known Jack, I've never seen him so happy to be fighting. He's going for his runs more regular, you know. And look, when he boxed Paul Roberts the second time, you know, Jack wasn't doing his little sprints and he wasn't doing his runs. He wasn't dieting, and he's doing all that now. You know, he's under a new team. He's with Aaron. That's nothing against his old team because they're just as good. But they've changed Jack. They've got him working on things. And I'm telling you now, you're going to see a very, very good Jack Hughes. Maybe not Saturday because it's the first one back. But on the 16th of September, if anyone can get down to Harrow Leisure Centre, it's a great show. I'm telling you now, you're going to see an absolute beast. And I reckon he could have the English for the end of the year, hopefully.
What weight would that be? Superfly, flyweight, or?
I think his plans are to fly at Superfly, but it all depends. The next 2 fights are at 57 because obviously he's been out the ring for over a year now.
So what weight?
So oh God knows. Is it featherweight? I'm not sure. No, it's not featherweight.
Or super bantam or something?
Yes, I think it's super bantamweight. Yeah, he's fighting. The guy he's fighting on the 16th is Sean Jackson. So I think Jack wants to make a statement. He wants to get, you know, he's known as a small horse star because of his style and the way he is, and how controversial he is. But I just think Aaron will be looking for 10 good rounds from Jack over the 2 fights, and then a couple of weeks off and straight back to it.
And what can we expect from him in this week and next week? Like, what can we expect from Jack?
I think this week, obviously, I don't know the game plan and stuff. I think that the show this Saturday will be Aaron will be telling himself, like Jack and Kieran, to just him, you know, just get back in the ring, rust off that rust and go. And then I think the 16th, you'll see an explosive Jack where he'll go. Obviously, look, if Jack sees the opportunity on Saturday, he's going to do it. But I think that the priority is filling up Harrow on the 16th. And I think you'll see the best Jack Hughes you've seen yet. And that's nothing against any of his old coaches. I just think Jack's in a better space now than he ever has been, and he wants to do it.
And so of course, Jake Pollard, I think he won his last fight. Do you think Jake will try and put it on him, or do you think as Jack hits hard that he'll be on his bike?
But the thing is, obviously, Jake Pollard's got the rematch with Louis Smithson, isn't he, on the 16th? So
same show as Jack's fight.
So I think they'll both just want to stay safe because they've both got a big night to prove on the 16th. You know, does Jake Pollard go into the 16th and say, I'm going to prove that it weren't lucky that I beat Louis Smithson, or is he going to say, I'm just going to step in the ropes and go for it? But you don't know. Do you know what I mean? I hope Louis does it because Louis Smithson, he's a nice fella, and I'm looking forward to seeing him fight on the show. He's quite close to me actually. So yeah, I think this Saturday will be a bit of just a boxing match as such. I don't think either will be looking to do much. You never know though, because Jake Pollard might be looking at Jack Hughes and be like, "Oh, area champion, back in the ring after 14 months. Let's show him why he shouldn't be back in the ring." But I'm looking forward to it nevertheless. I can't believe I'm having to wear yellow and pink, but it is what it is.
What are those his shirts that he wanted, or?
Yeah, Tezabels has done them. His Mrs. Terry, he's gone. I think they're yellow with all bright pink all over them. So, but I'll wear whatever that man tells me if I have to. But I definitely am not wearing a vest.
But yes, and then what else? George Hennon, he's making his comeback on the 23rd. We'll talk about that show in a minute. But yes, George is making his comeback fight, of course, after unfortunate night, got caught cold and just never recovered from the first knockdown. But how excited are you to see George back in the ring?
I am. Look, I've got to be careful what I say here because there's things that can't be said. But I think if you know George and you know boxing, you know he went right on that night in June. I think it was the 17th, but that's not taking nothing away from Ben Fields. But I'm looking forward to seeing him back. He's stripped back to basics. No bright yellow shirts. 200 of them ain't going to be at York all this time. There's going to be about 10 of us in the team shirts. But listen, George is George. He's fiery. He's going up in weight because they struggled to get an opponent. So he's fighting that. What's his name?
I think Chisanga, is he called?
Yes, he's fighting the guy that Yassi boy box. But I think that's changed now. I think he might be fighting a guy at welterweight. I'm not sure.
Oh, Berman Sanchez.
That's or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough night for George. But listen, the Snodland Army will be there. He'll sell it out again, and then hopefully we can get the Ben. I know Ben Fields is fighting for the Commonwealth silver, but hopefully Ben can win that, and then George can get him in November for the title.
What about the Southern area?
Well, I think they kind of skipped that, and I don't know if that was on George's part. I know it wasn't. I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dennis had the belt at the time. I think if George had beat Ben Fields and you offered him an area title, we'd take it. But I think if Ben is to win the Commonwealth silver, George is going to go straight back to him. And I'd like to see that rematch, regardless of the result, for Ben Fields against that. What's his name? Is it Lee Appleyard he's fighting?
No, he's fighting Jack Rafferty.
That's it. Lee Appleyard pulled out. So yeah, I'd like to see the Ben Fields rematch for the end of the year, but we'll see. Because obviously, as I say, we know George went right on the night. Nothing else needs to be said on that, and he will be right come September the 23rd.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you've also got on that card Brad Pauls v Mitch Frearson for the middleweight English title, and I do believe Jordan Reynolds is in line to fight the winner of that fight.
That's a close fight. I see Mitchell Frearson when he boxed that Balraj Singh, obviously chinned him in 2 rounds. But Brad Pauls obviously just lost for the English title, so there's a lot of pressure
coming against a journeyman.
He got the win coming back, so obviously, but I think there's a lot more pressure on Brad in this fight than there is Mitch. If you give me £100, I said lay your money on a bet, I would back Brad to win on points, but he's got to be careful because Mitchell Frearson can bang. So
and now he's with Will Jones as well, Mitch, different trainer.
Exactly. So it's Will's a good coach. They'll be working on stuff. But like I said, if I have to stick my nose on the line, I would say that Brad Pauls wins, and I hope he does because I like Brad. He's a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, both good fight. I mean, there's many fights on that card that could steal the show, in my opinion.
There's a lot of good fights. I'm looking forward to that night.
And of course, another English title. You've got Denis Judakaev v Sajid Abid, lightweight, super light. Sorry.
I think if Tom Ansell, when he boxed Dennis, he had him right where he wanted him, and then Dennis just went back to his corner and come out, and that was another close fight. I think you could have given that either way. Sajid's very good. He got dropped by Mikey in his last fight and come back and won it. I would go with Sajid on points.
Mm-hmm. Same, but I do, in my opinion, not. I think Tom nicked that fight. I think it was close. I thought Tom just did. I thought he just nicked it. But again, if Tom would have beat Judakaev, I don't think Hatton would have took that fight. Whether Tom was coming off a win against Judakaev and Prosper, I don't think Hatton would have took that fight.
No, and look, Tom gave a good account himself against Campbell Hatton. I think he started slow, but that's understandable. You're fighting on the biggest TV platform there is in boxing. But he showed towards the end of the fight what he can do. And obviously Tom boxed Sajid as well, and it was very close. I think he lost by a point, didn't he? So
that could have gone either way.
Exactly. So Tom's been on the end of a lot of. He's always been the away fighter. He's so you could argue if he was the home fighter, would they have given him the nod? Probably yes. But unfortunately, that's the way boxing is nowadays. Do you know what I mean? And we see it all the time now.
Yeah. But yeah, that I think if I had to edge to one with that one, I'd probably go Sajid. But Dennis did have 2 all right performances. I mean, he beat Idris Hill, which was a good performance. Then he boxed Tom, which I would say was an all right. I mean, he did well to get up off the canvas, but at the minute I'll say Sajid on points. But then you've got Yashir El Ghani v Aaron Prosper for the Southern Area Super Lightweight title.
See, that's another one. I don't know enough about Yassi Boy. Also, I know he trains with Andy down at Evolve, and they're confident. I don't think it'd be fair for me to comment. Obviously, I've only seen Aaron fight Lee Hallett, so that's going to be a pick'ems fight. I can't. It wouldn't be fair for me to pick someone because I don't know enough about either. But if you look at BoxRec, you would say Aaron's probably the favourite based on what he's done and who he's beaten.
And because he stopped Tom in the first round.
Exactly, but records are for DJs, and
true.
I just don't know. I don't know enough about either, if I'm honest. Both teams are very confident. I know that.
Wait, who's very confident?
Both teams are very, very. I know Aaron said he thinks he's going to stop him, and it's going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be a great night at York Hall.
I think yes, we're trying out. We'll try box him, and then Aaron will try and put the pressure on him.
Yeah, I think that's the way. I think Aaron's going to be the. He's going to know that he's got to. I think Aaron's going to know he's got to walk him down. He can't sit back because he's the away boxer, which again is what we go. It's sad that we have to say that. So yeah, I think Yassi will be boxing, and I think Aaron will be looking for them big combinations, and it's going to be. I think if it goes to points, Yassi wins.
What even if it doesn't? Yeah, because if it's really tight, then they'll go with Yasser because I think he signed with Steve Goodwin as well.
Yeah, I just think from what I've seen, Yassi may be the better boxer, but I think Aaron may be the one that packs the power. So to pick either fighter to win, it'd be Yassi on points or Aaron by knockout. But that's not me saying what I think will happen. That's just reading the book of what they've done before.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. What about Ross McGuigan v Dylan Courtney? I think Ross is going down to light heavyweight for this one.
Is that on the 23rd, is it?
Yeah, he's fighting Dylan Courtney, who's 2-3 and 2 draws. He used to be a prospect as well, so it's a decent test for him for his first fight at light heavyweight.
Yeah, but it's a journeyman on a good win show, so Ross McGuigan will win.
And then do you think Ross will try and get him in the mix with Jack Owen?
I don't think Jack wants to stay at light heavyweight. I think Jack wants to go back down to super middle. So Ross is probably looking at that because he probably don't know that. Jack may have changed his mind and been staying at light heavy. I don't know. But yeah, if he wins, he's going to be wanting to look at area title because he's getting to an age now where he needs to achieve something in boxing if he does and not just be.
And then you've got can we talk about, because Goodwin's got a show on the 16th as well, can we talk about that?
Yeah, I know Lewis Oakford's fighting on that night, but I'm not sure who else is on that night.
Oh yeah, but yes, Lewis has got Phil Williams. Wait, is he fighting him again?
Yeah, he had 3 opponents pull out. So he's basically been told, fight him, we'll get you an area title. So Lewis looks good, and then he's on the verge of touching the area title, which you may see the Miller rematch. I don't know.
But with Lewis, because because I think he was meant to fight on the 23rd against some undefeated guy, but I don't know who else pulled out. But yes, he's back out in a 6-rounder. I think last time was 4, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, Lewis Oakford's back. I mean, he's been on a bit of a roll this year, hasn't he? Lewis
is very good. He's very, very good. You know, we spoke before what he did to Ross McGuigan. Ross was probably the favourite in that fight, just based on opponents. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on Lewis, and like I say, I think he's very committed, and I'm ready to see him go for an area title as soon as he can. Yeah,
Lewis is very good.
He is very, very hard hitting as well.
Yeah, he can whack. Who else is there? Tommy Murphy. He's fighting on the 14th of October at York Hall.
Yeah, Tommy's back. I actually spoke to him today about kit he wants sorting. Again, he's had another good year. He had a good win over Casey Bradnam. What is he, 4-0, 5-0, Tommy?
I think he's 4 or maybe 4 or 5-0. I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, so he's just going through the reins. He'll probably want to get that fight out of the way. Have probably another 6-rounder in November, December, and then look for an area title next year.
Yeah, I think he'll win an area title next year.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a confidence thing with Tommy. You know, he's only had the fours at the minute, so going into a six will be good for him. And then get the couple of six rounders in, and that's it. You know, you only really want two six rounders as a prospect, and then you're ready to go.
Hmm. How far away do you think Lewis Oakford is for fighting for an area title?
I think if he performs well in 2 weeks, I think that's it. He's ready. I think he's warranted the chance now. He's beaten two unbeaten names, and then obviously he's beaten Phil once, going to be twice. So I think he'll want to be moving on now to that, but even an eliminator in his next fight. But yeah, I can't see it being anyone else than that Devon Miller, really, because there ain't really any other cruiserweights that I know of that are there ready to go for it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, I can't think of anyone else. But yeah, I think that would be good rematch. I mean, over 10 rounds. I mean, if you saw that last fight, that's not going the distance over 10 rounds.
But I don't think you'll ever get a cruiserweight area title fight that will go 10 rounds at this level, because they will just go for it. You know, I mean, you're going to, but that'd be a great fight to watch. Great fight to watch.
Yes, it would. Of course. Who else? Who else do you want to talk about?
I want to give a quick mention to one of Aaron's boys, Nathan Brown. He's making his debut, I think, on the 18th of November at York Hall. And believe me when I tell you this kid is the best I've watched in the flesh. I've watched him spar many a people, and Aaron is very confident that this guy's going to go to the top. So it's on a Nielsen show, 18th of November. If anyone can get there, there, because
where is it?
York Hall. He's special. He is very, very, very special. He's
What
super
weight is it?
flyweight. Super fly. Yeah, he's dangerous. Believe me.
Let's hope him and Jack don't end up fighting.
I've seen them spar. No comment on that. But he honestly is. He's in the top three of people I've seen, like, just training. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, what's your thoughts on? Of course, you was at the fight, Baluta v Dennis McCann.
I think Baluta done enough, if I'm honest.
I thought a draw.
But the judges give the last round.
Pardon?
You had it a draw.
Yes, because on the last round, you couldn't really score the last round.
Well, I mean, I had Baluta winning that last round, and it shows because two of the judges give it 10-10, which stopped Baluta winning. Because if they'd give it 10-9, Baluta would have won on a split.
Yeah, but if they gave 10-9 to McCann, McCann would have won.
Yeah, but in my eyes, McCann was all over the place in that last round. And look, the head clash did have something to do with it. Of course it did. And I like both of them, but I just think that Baluta won. And I've heard they've turned down the rematch, McCann. I don't know how true that is.
Oh, I was about to ask, would you want to see a rematch with them?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. Because, you know, Dennis showed his heart in that fight. But I don't know. I just think it was a bit suspect how the fight all ended, and there was so much confusion at ringside when the ref waved it off as to whether the ref done it or the doctor done it.
Yeah, it was strange how they did it, in my opinion, because Baluta was jumping up on the corner, and I was like, oh, I think Baluta's done it. But then the ref was saying, nah, get down. It's not all of it confusing.
The ref just looked to have waved it off. So everyone went mad. And then Frank Warren's on the canvas talking to the ref. And then all of a sudden the ref's telling Baluta to get down. And then shock, it's a draw. I just think it's a bit suspect. But I can't argue a Baluta win or a McCann win.
It's fair enough. What do you think Baluta would do next if that's not if you were his promoter, who would you match Baluta in there with next if Dennis McCann wasn't an option?
I'd like to see the Liam Davis rematch. Because I know for a fact Baluta weren't right that night. He weren't well. So, you know, he hadn't trained for. No, I'm not going to say anything else. But I'd like to see that rematch.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Because of course Liam Davis he's been coming off a good win against Cunningham in the first round. I mean, I didn't expect it to end because, of course, I think you've spoken to Jason before. I've spoken to him online before. Good guy. I thought it would be close. I thought it would have gone to decision. I thought Davis was going to do enough to win as it was his hometown. So I thought that could maybe give them the edge. But I was saying Liam split, but no one could have predicted a first round knockout.
No, Jason was too cold, and Liam just jumped straight on him, and it happens. Do you know what I mean? It's happened in plenty of fights, and it won't be the last time. It's such a shame because Jason's one of the nicest guys I've met in boxing. So I'm gutted that he's had a career and he's achieved things that not many will. You know, he's won everything up until world level. So it is a shame, but I think Jason will probably have one more, and then he'll sail off with his family.
That's fair. But I mean, when he fought that Teti guy, Teti's positive drug test came back, and they're still on his record. That, in my opinion, just put it as a no contest.
Well, it should be, and you know, everyone's jumping on Eddie Hearn about all his fighters failing, but if Teti was tested in the build-up to that fight, then that fight wouldn't have happened. So I think people that are throwing stones at glass houses need to have a look at a few things before they start. You know, Eddie Hearn's the only company that they test fighters properly. You know, they pay for all the testing in camp. You know, was Eubank and Smith tested all camp? I don't think so.
Yeah, because I think Smith's team was saying that no, like there was no VAR, didn't do anything else. Do you think there should be? Because I saw a promoter in the Midlands saying that he wants to start doing drug tests for the small hall as well.
I think any title fights, they should be tested. Doesn't matter if it's an area title, English, British, European, or whatever. Going in there for a minimum of 10 rounds. And if you're cheating, you could literally kill the person. So I think any title fights should, and I think there should be random testing as well in all fights.
Yeah, just in my opinion, even if it's just someone making their debut against the journeyman, just do it. Just in my opinion.
Yeah, just random spot tests, but I think all title fights should be tested, and that's something that the board should look at.
I agree, because I mean, how dangerous it was. I mean, especially that Teti knockout against Cunningham. I mean, if you watch that was a scary knockout.
It was awful. It was awful to watch. Do you know what I mean? It was two big hits, and he was out cold. But then that makes you wonder: would he have been able to do that without it? Well, no, he wouldn't have. So it's like, you know, yeah.
It's scary to think that even when Dillian White pulled out, that Helenius stepped in, and then he was on it as well. And then people were like, "Why don't you just let White fight him?" I mean,
well, the last they tested him was the night before the fight, and he failed that test that come back after the fight. So, you know, they're not going to spot that. But with the Dillian White, he was found out straight away. Do you know what I mean? But Helenius was tested later on in the week, and they didn't get the result till after. So they can't, oh, he might have failed, let's pull him out. They found out after that he failed. But what would have happened if he had chinned Anthony Joshua and put him in hospital?
I know. I mean, you just can't. Like, if someone, if they just do one now for Eubank or Smith, I mean, I just don't know nowadays. Like, if they're on it or if they've took something, you just don't know after just the recent weeks. You know what I mean?
The thing is, now you're going to look at everyone and say, when they do a knockout, are they juicing? They've not done that before. What are they taking? Do you know what I mean?
I know. It's sad though. But
yeah, it's not good. It's not good for the sport at the minute.
Yeah, but other than that, anything you want to mention just before we go?
No, I think that's it. I think we're just good luck to all the boys that have been mentioned and everyone else that I know that's fighting, and hopefully we can all get out with winners and some belts.
And yes, thank you for your time, Carl.
No problem, mate. I'll see you Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. Bye, mate.
Take care, pal.